And more breaking news coming in on how India and US are not in agreement over the trade pact. Sources tell India today that US wants to maintain 10% tariffs. But we also get to learn that India wants zero tariff in some of the sectors especially. Sources tell India today that both India and US have still not come to an agreement as far as the tariffs finality is concerned. The United States is keen on maintaining 10% tariff, but India wants tariffs to be brought down to zero, especially in certain sectors. India's chief negotiator, Rajesh Agarwal, has further extended his stay in Washington, D.C. to settle this matter. 8 days to the deadline, but no agreement that is clearly in sight. As far as both India and US are concerned, India continues to push its case, saying that there should be zero tariff as far as some sectors are concerned. But the US is saying that there should be 10% tariffs, and that is something India is not agreeing to. Hence, the chief negotiators who continue to talk to get to a settlement, to agree on a finality of what will be decided on the tariffs. Listen in to more responses. All right, we'll try and play out more that we are receiving on this front, but at the moment, this is source-based information that India today has received on how the trade pact has still not been settled upon when it comes to both India and US. Just a few days ago, Donald Trump had said that the trade pact with India is almost getting finalized, and it's a great one there. But those who are negotiating on the table at the moment, working under Trump and Modi, are trying to get the best deal. India is very clear. There must be zero tariffs, especially in some sectors, whereas the US tries to push for 10% tariffs in those sectors. Let me cut across to Aishwarya Paliwal, joining us with further details of what we are picking up from our sources on this front. Aishwarya.
Well, Suresh, one thing is very, very clear, and that's the fact that India is not backing down. The United States at the moment very, very clear that they want the 10% tariff bracket. India also very, very clear. But one thing is also very clear. Both the nations, United States and India, they both want to make sure that there is a trade deal. That's the reason why you are seeing the negotiator, the chief negotiator who's gone from India's side, Rajesh Agarwal. He, in fact, has extended his stay. Initially, they had planned to stay in Washington, D.C. only for 2 days, but we are seeing these talks going on. One thing that the United States now wants is that dairy products, farming products, all those products, those are something that should get a free entry in India. But the Indian government also very keenly looking at how to protect Indians and the small businesses that our farmers and our producers are doing. So that's something that we are seeing a catch-22 situation of sorts. But yes, India is not backing down. The trade negotiations are still going on from what we understand. In the next couple of days, maybe 24 to 48 hours, situation will become clearer. We are also having a conversation with regards to the July 9th deadline. The reciprocal tariffs were all set to kick in. India is also now looking at making sure that that deadline is extended in days to come. Suresh.
One thing is clear, Aishwarya, given the relationship between Narendra Modi and Donald Trump, it will be something that India must be convinced with, and that is the message that the US certainly gets. But if you could also share further details of what these particular sectors are, where India is very clear that our terms must be agreed upon, but the US trying to get their way.
Well, if we speak about the agricultural products, which are specifically produced that India does, maize, wheat, soybean, those are something that the United States is very keen on looking at. The dairy products, milk products, all those things which are in abundance in India, that's also something that the government is very keenly looking at. The government does not want the Indian farmers to be at disadvantageous position. That's the reason why we are seeing such swift pushback coming in from the Indian side. From what we are understanding, the silver lining in all this is the fact that both US and India at the moment are looking at a deal. That's the reason why you are seeing the negotiations carrying on. Our team had gone only for 2 days, Suesha, but the conversation is still going on. From what we are understanding, the US also now very keenly making sure that the talks are on. That's something that the US government, the Indian government is looking at. Our chief negotiator is at it, even as we speak, Suesha. From what we are understanding, we will see more clarity coming in. The dairy products is something that the government is not backing down. Agricultural produce is also something that the Indian government is very keenly looking at protecting from the Indian side.
Very true, Aishwarya. I want to thank you for getting us those details, also for our viewers to get a greater sense of what exactly is happening on that front. We'll quickly tell you that US wants India to lower tariffs in the agricultural sector. US wants India to lower the tariffs in this particular sector, but India is firm that when it comes to the agricultural sector and dairy products, we will not open. If there is no deal, 26% is where the likely impact will be.